Welcome. We're back. Welcome again to the Straub Bros Sports Show. Big bro Ken, little bro Andrew, little bro, what's going on?
Listen, man, it's been 80 degrees all week here. I was praying for this. I am so ready to be back. It has been too long. I am ready.
Absolutely. It has not been 80 up here in the Cleveland area. It's been beautiful, other than all of the rain and awful rain we've been getting. But it's been nice out, just in general. Beautiful day today. No lights. That's sunshine in here on my end, but that's we'll get to the weather. Your forecast coming after the sports. Stay tuned. But welcome again on the 216 Sports Network, Straub Bros Sports Show. The 216 Sports Network is where you find us, and it's where you find everyone else. You can find us on Facebook, follow and like us there. You can find us on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's where you can find all of us. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, The Jay Rich Show, The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee, Outside Interference, and the one you're listening to now, the Straub Bros Sports Show. The Straub Bros Sports Show. You can find us everywhere. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS, and you can find us on X, Twitter at Straub Bros Sports. Get our faces back in here. Spotify as well, if you need to catch up on anything that you have missed, or if you want to rock back to the beginning, or whatever the reason might be. Follow us on Spotify as well. Give us a 5-star. Go and subscribe there as well. A big shout out again this week to my guy Austin Fink over at Create Your Own Wave Apparel for rocking with us again. Check them out on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021, and you can check out the merch itself, cyowapparel.myshopify.com. It's in the bottom link as well, as you see on the scroll. I should say not the bottom link, on the scroll there. Check that out. Don't ride the wave. Create your own wave. Nailed it. Shout out to my guy, Austin. He'll be running that back for us. He's a day behind. So, Austin, when you hear this, come find me. But we've been missing, but we're back. So, bro, we got to hop right into it because we got a lot of things to cover. Let's get into the news. First things first, I'm going to give a shout out to our Cleveland Cavaliers, who locked up a playoff spot. They will take on the Magic starting this weekend. It is very fair to say, though, for Cavs fans, they're optimistic, but this team has blown some leads. This team has not looked very good in the playoffs the last 2 years. Darius Garland, he's been in and out. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell has been in and out of the lineup. But they should be able to take care of Orlando. Thoughts, bro?
Yeah, I mean, so last year, obviously, you go into an environment like New York, and that's very tough to get out of. You should have won, but, it's one of those things where an experienced team going in a hostile environment kind of creates some havoc, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, it doesn't get much better as you're coming into an Orlando team that is an amazing transformation from last season and is looking to build off of that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Donovan Mitchell can kind of just steady the ship. Maybe a lot of those players that have come in can kind of, with their experience in the playoffs, do something like that. But yeah, it's going to be a little nervy for this series, and I am going to be glued to my team.
F around and lose to the Magic, and I'm firing everybody and I'm trading everybody. I'm just letting you know right now. If you want to check out some more in-depth Cavaliers coverage, not us two bozos talking about this Cavaliers team, which we don't know as much about, check out my guy Jay Rich on the Jay Rich Show for all of this. But I watch enough to know this. They mess around and lose to Orlando, and everybody's fired. Okay, and somebody might mess around and get traded. It's also, and I don't need to be included on every game to know this, the worst kept secret in the NBA is Donovan Mitchell is not re-signing with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So at some point, we got to do something here, okay? Are we just going to run this out and let it roll? But I will say this. Okay, first of all, hold on. Mom, absolutely. We missed you last week. Thank you. But 350-plus games experience more than Orlando. I understand. We should win. I'm just saying, don't mess around and lose this.
If we're talking like all time, I don't
How about
know if
that?
that should
How about that?
make
And shout out to
anything.
Ray for this one. JB's gone regardless. He's done everything he can for that, guys. Oh, and that 350 plus. If you're listening and you're not watching, shout out to my guy Nick for that stat. He threw that one into us on the chats. Jump in the chats with us on Facebook or YouTube if you want to holler at us and want to throw something at us. Tell us we're right. Tell us we're wrong. Ray says JB's gone regardless. You agree? I do.
If he makes it to a conference final, I say no. If anything less than that, I would say yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'm just saying, and I don't know. I agree. I'm starting to believe that this team can't really go a lot
I
further.
agree.
And I don't know if it's personnel or coaching. I like JB. I do. The problem is this team. I don't know. And here's the hard part. As somebody who gambles, okay, I won't lie. That's where some of our majority of my NBA stuff has come from this season while we were face deep in all of college basketball. A lot of teams blow leads. Every team. I know my parlays have been just poo-poo, okay? But so I don't want to just put, oh, they blow leads. I mean, just some. It's going to come down to the playoffs. I mean, this is what it is. I don't care. We're all bored with this regular season. Great, it's cool, but what are you guys going to do in the playoffs? So go take care of Orlando, and everybody in Cleveland will be so high and ecstatic that we won't care anymore, and we'll let it slide because the Cavaliers are everybody's like third favorite team in this city, as much as we all love them. Like, let's be honest, okay? If this was the Browns, it would have been taken care of. If it was the Tribe or the Guardians, it would be taken care of. Shout out to our Guardians. We will get to Guardians. We will have a big old guard the land segment. So I'm just saying, gain momentum versus Boston or Chicago. Yeah, shout out to Chicago last night. They looked great.
Yeah.
Kobe White, shout out to that guy. I got a couple of his cards. Yes, that's terrible. That's what I'm coming off of. Whatever.
And Miami's not looking great either.
No, not at all. I mean,
did you hear what he said, by the way, Jimmy Butler?
Would you want to play? Would you want to play Miami either way? I don't care how banged up Miami is. Do you want to play them?
Did you hear what Jimmy Butler said?
No,
First,
I didn't.
no, but so
give it to me. I did not.
Him and Tyler Hero on the bus were going at it.
Yeah, is that confirmed?
I mean, I want to say it regardless, and like if we'll apologize if it doesn't. So they were on the bus, Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler, and they were going at it, and all Jimmy Butler was saying 9 for 28, 9 for 28. And Hero got so upset he went to swing, missed, and as he missed, Jimmy Butler says 9 for 29. And not gonna lie, I chuckled a lot. And if I was on that bus, I would have chuckled as well because that's actually really funny.
I really, really hope that's not true. I don't know. Another one. See, this is why, and I just wanted to point this out. I talked to my guy Nick today. That's why he's here. I told him nobody other than our guys here at the network who are at every game, and that would be my guy Jay. Nobody watches more Cavaliers than my guy Nick. Pre and post game. I give him all the depth in the world. So I'm just saying, look at that. Starting 5. Listen, 20 total games together. I'm stealing him. He's part of the show. Listen, when we go full Pat McAfee, Nick will have a seat and at the table. So will Ray. Everyone will have a seat at my table. Acknowledge me. That would be, and I just want to get it out of the way just in case people are weird and are like, what is he wearing? That is a Cody Rhodes shirt. Shout out to my guy Cody Rhodes. Finish the story, baby. Did it for Dusty. Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody cares about that. I know, right? He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about the other stuff. But no, and what Ray was talking about was that nobody cares that our starting 5 has less than total 20 games together. No, not at all. Well, we're gonna be we're a little slept on here, and that's okay. That's fine. Let's make the run. Let's see what this team can do. We've seen when Donovan Mitchell has been at his best, he dragged that Utah team with him and Rudy Gobert to almost a conference final. So I love it. Mom was shouting out WrestleMania and finishing the story. Ray was booing it. I love that. So that's that. We have got to touch back on a funny story for the both of us, bro. And that would be Jonte Porter formerly of the Toronto Raptors, banned for life for gambling on NBA games, providing confidential information to bettors, and faking injuries or exaggerating injuries and taking himself out of games. This is a funny but not funny story. First of all, it is a very sad situation because this young man, regardless of whether he was the 12th man on the bench or a starter, his lifelong dream of playing in the NBA is gone and it is over. We will get to that. Ray throwing it out there. Shout out, should have had an interpreter. All the jokes are gonna fly in. I mean, yeah. Bet against his own team too. Not necessarily bet against his own team. As Dad pointed that out. Of course, Dad is coming in to let you all know that he bet against his team. He's gonna point that out. Shout out to you, Pops. But he didn't bet against his team. He bet against his own stats and then took himself out of the games. I mean, I think that's actually worse. We clowned it when it happened and said, man, if you did this, this is the dumbest thing I have ever heard of, because there's no way you were going to get away with it. And Mom throwing in that he bet against his own team. So I guess I'm wrong on that one, Straub. I apologize. I guess he did bet against his own teams. I thought it was just the stats. So I apologize there. I mean, man, I'm going to throw it back to what I said, and I'm going to post our reel today, too, because I want to get that TikTok back up into the reels. Man, you can't be the 12th man on the Raptors and have your parlays be the biggest money-making parlays on DraftKings each of those nights, you dummy. Man, to quote Charles Barkley, you dummy. Dumb move, kid.
Yeah, and they looked at the I guess the money he made, and it was $20,000, which cool. The dude made $3 million in the NBA, so to throw it away like that for a $20,000 bet is absolutely just stupid behavior. Absolutely. Like, I don't know what else to say on that other than
there's
what
not a
are
lot
you
to say.
doing?
Right. And a shout out to Ray too. If he's throwing stats, I believe he's throwing games. So you know what? Here, I'll back off and I'll retract how I said that then, because I thought it was just the stats and it was funny. And to be honest with you, when I saw the ban, I really didn't look back into it. So yeah, I mean, dude, I don't like it. However, this is what happens when we have so much betting. We're gonna have this. You know what I mean? This is gonna happen all the time now. So buckle in. It's only a matter of time before it's. And I'm not going to say a name because it would be unfair to put anybody's name in any kind of sentence that can be cut and clipped. But it's only a matter of time before it's a superstar. Oh, wait. Speaking of gambling and superstars, Shohei Ohtani has been cleared by the FBI of any wrongdoing in his betting scandal. FBI reporting that his interpreter stole over $16 million from Shohei Ohtani.
Ow.
Your silence was telling.
That hurt so much to think about that money, but about the story, obviously people are all going to have their opinions regardless of how this went. Mm-hmm. But regardless of that, this was a massive scare for not even just Ohtani, but for the entire MLB, because this is your biggest superstar globally that was this close for you having to either be the biggest hypocrite of all time and not do it to him when you did it to Pete Rose, or lose your best superstar and lose millions in revenue. So we'll see how this kind of unfolds more and more often. But right now, a massive bullet dodge for everybody involved in the MLB.
100%. Ray asked a question. Didn't know Ohtani only make $1 million this year? Yes. Excuse me. His Dodger contract is only that much. Apparently, this stuff, I do believe, started before the Dodger contract. He also makes an enormous amount of money in endorsements. And apparently what my guy did is he changed the settings on the bank account because he had access to the bank account because he was allowed to pay things. He had access to the bank account and changed the settings so that he no longer got notifications for large withdrawals. I mean, and here, as somebody who gets a notification,
that's baller.
Listen, as somebody who gets a notification himself anytime more than I think it's $75 comes out of my bank account, okay? Somebody turned those notifications off and I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I guess I could. I wouldn't be able to lose $16 million. I'd be more upset about $16, but still, nonetheless, I'm just saying it. I can understand. Mom says, no, I'm out. I don't believe it. I think he's guilty. And I understand it. And it was a point I was going to make. A lot of people are going to feel that way. A lot of people are going to feel like no matter what, baseball was going to cover for him or the interpreter is going to cover for him. We'll see. I mean, at this point, I don't know. Like, yeah, he can carry, but what else can we do but go off of it? I will give Ohtani this. He hasn't ducked anything. He's not ignored anybody. He's been right there, front and center. Ask me what you need to ask me, and I'll answer. So I got to give him that, okay? So we'll move on. A little bit of college basketball news. Bit of a shocker. John Calipari is leaving Kentucky. He is leaving a bigger salary to, I think, basically make just under $1 million a year. But he is going to Arkansas, where he will be playing with over $5 million in NIL money, thanks to the Purdue chicken owner's son family dynasty, and a guy we know very well on the podcast, a man named Jerry Jones. So, yeah, they signed him up. Replacing John Calipari, I mean, first of all, here, we'll get this out of the way. Arkansas will be in the tournament. Arkansas will be a player. Arkansas will make a Sweet 16.
First, just want to say about
first
that.
Of all, hold on. First of all, we're gonna give our guy, and then I can't even do anything because I'm skipping. So I was trying to throw it up for him. I was trying to give Sean a shout out on the comment section there because he said he would stay, but he's got a coach. Missed the footy. That's all right. We're going to absolutely thrash you today. So it's good. You are not going to be there for that. Make sure you check that back in, Mr. City, in the empty hat, 157 City, 150 whatever something City. Not doing good on the comments. I'm already freezing up there, but that's all right. But Arkansas, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four incoming in a couple years. It'll happen. He's got all this money now. Cal will put it together. This is what Cal does when he leaves and he gets to a new school. Go ahead.
Yes. However, this is kind of funny. They currently have no roster spots filled right now.
Let's go.
And I mean zero, I mean goose egg.
Hold on.
Nil, nada. There is not a single scholarship player on that roster right now, which honestly, I want to this is like a create a team kind of thing where you're making players and putting them at 99 overall just to in Madden.
Listen,
this is really just insane to look at right now.
Here's why I'm all in. Here's why I am 100% all in. This reminds me of a little thing that just happened in the college football season, and I am so mad because I thought I had a reason to bring the glasses out, but I said no reason to bring the glasses out, and I forgot my damn Coach Prime sunglasses because this is exactly what happened at Colorado. Coach Prime walked in and said, "Bums out, my guy's in." Yeah, shout out to Ray team Ray who said it exactly. My guy is out here playing my team. But listen, I love it because here's why. It's harder to do that in college football. And Colorado was still better than they were the year before. 100%. I don't care what anybody says. They were 100% better than they were. And they're going to be even better this year. It's much easier to do that with a basketball team. He's already going to get some of his best guys, whoever he wanted at Kentucky. They will follow him because half of Kentucky just entered the transfer portal the minute that he left. I think more guys entered the transfer portal from Kentucky than did from Alabama when Nick Saban left. And I don't even think that's possible because there's 3 times as many players. So, and guess what? Coach Cal can recruit. A bunch of guys are going to come running, and they're all going to get paid. I mean, you're talking $1 million plus a piece per starter. So, I mean, let's not get too far out of hand here. All right. However, moving on past Arkansas, and I'm letting your connection catch up. Nobody can see that, but I can. That's okay. Replacing Coach Cal at Kentucky is a guy you know very well. The former head coach of BYU. Drew, talk to me.
Yes, Mark Pope. He comes in on a 5-year, $25 million deal and absolutely massive expectations. From what I know about BYU, I don't know if it was just because the players or if this is the scheme that he wanted. They take a crap ton of threes. They are very spaced out on the floor. They move super quickly. They're actually pretty decent defensively. So as long as he's got wiggle room and players that he wants to get, I think that you're going to see a Kentucky team that's going to be very similar to that. And so it's going to be a little different than when we saw Kentucky in the couple years where they are very, driving in and then kicking out to a 3 or leading to a big man. This is going to be a very spaced out Kentucky team, which I think is very different than what we've seen, but also something that is evolving in today's game and something that might be needed for a Kentucky to kind of get back into relevancy.
I got nothing else. We're keeping it rolling. I want to give my guy Ray a shout out because he's here. He's in the comment section. Ray, Indiana State big man, Robbie Avila, aka Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is entered the transfer portal. That is 100% big news. Also, North Carolina women's Tar Heel star Deja Kelly also entered the transfer portal. I would like to take this opportunity right now to tell you both about a wonderful city called South Bend and a beautiful, majestic, magical place called the University of Notre Dame, where you can come play like a champion today. Yeah, as my guy Ray said, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yeah, so both of you, come on in. Let's go.
Yeah.
LeBron said
I
Bronny
also
wants to
have
start and
news
be on
for
the
that.
team and where he's a leader. Fortunately, you can't do that here at Notre Dame. I mean, I love you, Bronny, but you're absolutely playing second fiddle this year with our ACC Rookie of the Year. Sorry about that. But yes, both of you, come on down to the University of Notre Dame.
Yes.
We would love it. Also, we've got another quick piece of NCAA news. Bro, new transfer portal news rules. Talk to me.
Yes. So, stemming from the lawsuit that we have talked on numerous occasions on this podcast, the NCAA has accepted the new, I would say, ruling that transfers, regardless of the amount of times they've transferred, will immediately be eligible to play starting the next season. Now, they have to be academically eligible. They still can't transfer in the middle of the season, and they still cannot play on two teams in the same season. But this comes as a massive, massive ruling due to all of the complications that we had in football and a lot of basketball last season. So these will be very, very good for these guys. And you will definitely see, I have a feeling, strict academic policies be
That's fine.
make sure that they are academic eligible, because there is never this kind of leeway without some restrictions being tightened on the other end. So we will see that.
Then kids, hit the books and make sure your stuff's right. Okay. Ray, is that confirmed before I throw it?
It is.
It is. Oh, beautiful. Speaking of other people in the transfer portal, along with this rule, I think it's a great rule. By the way, I'm okay with it. I love it. And hey, yeah, put the academic standards in. Fine, make these kids go to class. Like my girl Haley Van Lith, who's already graduated, who will now. She's headed to TCU. I love it. Beautiful. I would have brought her to Notre Dame too. I just bring everybody.
I honestly thought that she'd be a great fit for you, and so I thought that was a big idea.
Listen, not only that would have been, and I'm not that I wouldn't own one, but that would have been the first Notre Dame basketball jersey I went out and purchased. I would have snagged that one, 100%. But this Bronny can transfer twice now. Is that what that means? If Bronny decides to stay in school, Bronny needs to just go ahead and go to Ohio State. Just go. It's where you want to be. It's where your dad wanted to go.
Hey, no. LeBron wanted a podcast, said at the time he was looking at Cincinnati back in the day. Listen, you can come, please. We need it. We need a small forward. We need one to tuck in, please.
Love it. Way too much time on the news, but we've got more stuff to go. That's okay. We already mentioned Ohtani, so I can skip past that. Bro. Yeah, we had a sad one. We had a retirement. Go ahead.
Yes. So, after 13 seasons, NBA star Blake Griffin has retired. Yeah. He averaged 20 points in 8 of his 13 seasons. And in my opinion, just based on his impact on the court, was this kind of generation's Vince Carter, in my sense, where maybe he wasn't a absolute insane superstar, maybe didn't get all the rings, but in terms of a wow factor and also consistent play, I think was one of the most notable players. And good luck to you, but I know you watched him more often, so I want you to give a little.
I was about to say, pass this one, young buck. Pass this to the old man. First of all, Detroit ruined him. I mean, his own knees ruined him. Lob City was one of the most amazing times. Shout out to Nick for that one too. First of all, put some respect on Vince Carter's name. Vince Carter was a superstar.
I never said that they were the same. I said it was this generation's Vince Carter.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It was just the way it was a young person's perspective on Vince Carter, and I completely understand that. You kids don't understand what it was like to watch Blake Griffin touch the basketball. And you're like, what? Because the minute he touched the basketball, somebody was getting dunked on. Okay. Posterized. Dun-dun-dun. Here's your number one play for the next 6 weeks. Okay. Blake Griffin was awesome. You guys, if you're younger, you do not understand the hype around this guy. He was awesome in LA, just like, that was Ray's sentiment. And obviously what Nick said, Lob City, that's where LA was. Those teams didn't win anything. No, it's not a full get off my lawn moment.
Yes, it is. But that's okay.
It is a bit of it because he became like a meme and a joke with the Kardashian stuff and man, before those knees gave out, man, you got out the way. And if you didn't, you were Timothy Mozgov, okay? And if it wasn't for the Cavaliers, yes, he jumped over a damn Kia. And this whole superstars don't be in the dunk contest. Well, when Blake Griffin was in the dunk contest, we watched it. We didn't miss it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, my man jumped over a Kia. He jumped over the hood of the Kia, but whatever. I don't give a shit. Okay. Shout out to you, Blake. Go do something fun. Go be in the big three. Or do whatever. Would it not? Because every once in a while he'd have a dunk in him, and literally he would just dunk on one of those old guys. Carrying that team in Detroit with a torn meniscus. And when's the last time we actually said anything about a team carrying something in Detroit that wasn't the football team? So yeah. Shout out to you. Same time. All right. So we're gonna do. You want to do a championship shout out first or the sentimental one first?
Championship shout. Let's sentimental here. Let's go championship, and then we'll go back to sentimental, and then we'll keep going.
Championship shout out first. Our championship shout out to the Cleveland Crunch, who this past Sunday won the MLIS championship over Omaha, 5th star on the jersey, incoming. Shout out to all those guys. Absolutely. Like Ray said it, Cleveland, you damn right, the city of champions. Big shout out to the Crunch. Big shout out to Ryan Ruiz. Big shout out to Luciano, the owners, all the players on that team, and a big shout out and some prayers and some love sent out Kevin Blackwood, who scored the first goal of the game, also scored many goals throughout the year, but was ultimately very, very badly injured in that game. Had to be carted off going into surgery, I do believe either today or tomorrow. Big shout out. Much love to you, Kevin. Get back soon. Get back ASAP. But shout out to the Crunch, your champions. Stay tuned is all I have to say about that one. There's some things in the works. Mel's going to punch me if I say anything, so I won't say anything, but we'll just stay tuned on that. And then our last bit of news and notes. Did you have anything?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, other than the congratulations you were showering that nobody could hear. I didn't know if you had anything on the Crunch. No worries. If you want some stuff on the Crunch, jump back into our Spotify and go check out a couple of those episodes of Crunch Time. Highlights, clips, interviews with the coach and some players. Absolutely something to check out. And let's get a little bit emotional because I love to tug on heartstrings because I love it myself. The great Jim Villavano said, you must laugh and you must cry every day. Here's your little bit to cry about. Shout out to the UCF Knights, the college football team. They will play their spring game in helmets designed by the pediatric patients at the Orlando Health Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It is absolutely amazing. Take a second when you're done, or even, I don't even care if you pull it up on your phone right now and you leave us for a second. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but check it out and Google it. Literally, the kids went in and they colored in the helmets and they wrote stuff and they wrote little notes in. And all of the kids who participated, all of those helmets will be on display. Like Pop said, awesome, like 100%. It's making my voice crack. Like, it makes me emotional because these are kids. I have a 4-year-old. I can't even imagine. Next bit of news with that. This needs to be a thing from now on. And I don't we're done. Like Iowa, you're absolutely right. It's dope. Iowa needs to do it. Every team now needs to go to their local pediatric hospital and have their helmets designed for the spring game. Then we can auction them off. Like, this is a no-brainer. Like, this isn't even a get off my lawn. This is get on my lawn. Like, everyone come join me in this because there's no way that this is not a great idea. So big shout out to UCF. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I usually give a little bit of stick to UCF just because we're a little bit of rivals, but
Mm-hmm.
no, this is awesome. This is a great thing to do, and I agree with you. This should be something that everyone should kind of look towards and kind of see if they can do something similar or anything like that. Because listen, why not? It's a
Should
fun
we?
time. It's a good thing, and people already go there and spend time and do that in the community. Why not incorporate them as well into the season? It would be really cool to see.
I think we just found our first cause for the show. I think from this point we're going to take the Instagram Straub Bros Sports Show and we're going to reach out to Akron, maybe Kent State, one of these schools right around here around us, and see and let's get with them and see if we can do this because I think this is just a great idea. So there you go, our first charitable cause that we're taking up for the show. We had our first sponsor 2 weeks ago. We're rolling, baby. We're going big time. So yes, but yeah, absolutely a shout out. Big ups to UCF there. Okay, bro, we're gonna touch on them real quickly because they did happen while we were gone,
Yes.
and that would be the NCAA Men and Women's Championship. We're gonna start with the guys. Bro, show me a graphic. Boom. Yes,
Woo!
ladies and gentlemen, UConn. They absolutely, I mean, they dominated 75-60 over Purdue. It's not fair to say anything about Purdue choking. I mean, this UConn team was so damn good. We talk about parity, but let's talk about the fact that the men's side, these two teams in the championship game, lost a combined 8 games. Okay, only 3 for UConn. Okay, they ran through this tournament. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. And UConn, the first team to win back to back since Florida,
Right?
and even more dominance during both tournaments. They covered every single spread
I
in
know.
each of their games,
I
which is
know.
absolutely insane. And like you said, we were both putting it up at the same time.
We
Purdue made it further than all we thought. And
yeah.
Zach Edey, the star on that team, tried his best, had 37 points, 10 rebounds, was 60% from the floor. Unfortunately, what we thought was going to happen 3 rounds before happened this round. He didn't get a lot of help from his teammates. They only had 23 points combined. They only had 2 bench points, and they had 31% from the floor. So UConn did exactly what we thought other teams were going to do, and that's limited. So we're going to let Zach Edey do everything, but we're not going to let anybody else beat us. And congrats to UConn because that is a heck of a run and something that I'm curious to see what they can do next year as well.
Save that for 1 second. I do want to say this. Yeah, like Dad said, Purdue didn't make it further than a lot of us thought. We'll be honest. Number 1. Number 2, and I'm going to say it, this conversation is going to be absolutely mirrored, copy and paste to the women's side.
Yeah.
Just like South Carolina. Spoiler alert, like you didn't know they won. Zach Edey, Caitlin Clark, they played great. Their teams played great throughout the tournament, and it's why they made it as far as they did. The time they came up against a great team who played great, and their teammates didn't show up all the way, they lost. And that is exactly what happened. This UConn team deserves all the dap. So does Zach Edey. But here's my question for you. 2 questions. Number 1, is UConn now a dynasty? And hold on, since Ray did ask who won the show's brackets, we're going to show both of those. So just hold on 1 second. So real quick, is UConn now a dynasty in modern sports, college basketball?
That's a tough question. That is a real tough question.
Okay. Well, this is 2 weeks ago game, so give me a quicker
Not
answer.
yet.
Okay.
Because the third, 2 years before, they did not make the tournament at all.
And remember, he said, "Get us now."
Exactly. So if we get into next year and they're the same team they were this year, yes, I will give it to you 100%. But I 2 championships, I'm like, and what we're going to talk about with South Carolina, very similarly.
Yep, 100%. All right, and oh, my man's all over the place today. He doesn't even know it, but that's okay.
On the cusp, but I need a little.
That's all right. I do have another question for him when he can regain and he's not blowing everybody's eardrums with his awful connection. And that would be now, and don't even go back on your point because it's okay. Nobody was listening. Dan Hurley, now the best coach in college basketball for me. That's clear, far and away there. But that's okay. Now, That's the men's side. Show us who won the men's bracket challenge.
With pleasure. First,
Boom.
we have ESPN fan bunch of numbers, which I really want to know who this is. I even if it's someone that isn't on from the show, I love that just someone who just was like, I don't even care and making a name won the entire thing.
And that might be somebody we know who just didn't have an ESPN account or just has a random one we don't know. I do know some of those names up there. First of all, I want to give a shout out to my guy Justin Witt, Jay Whitty, up there in second place. And hey, he's in the comment section. So there you go, Ray. You asked, and I think that's maybe why he asked, because he wanted some love. My guy Ray in there in fourth place. Shout out to your boy Tim, who is in there in third. So the ESPN men's side absolutely filled out with people from the show. Love you guys for participating. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now let's talk about the women.
Yes.
South Carolina took care of Iowa. I mean, this is what it comes down to. I mean, just there's only so much Caitlin Clark could do. There's only so much that anybody could do against the South Carolina team. And yes, Ray, I did better than I thought. I think there's a lot of us. But then I'm sorry, I was stalling as I was scrolling back up because I did the games out of order. 87-75 win. Caitlin tried to hang in there, but there's only so much you can do. Camila Cardoso, 15-17. Raven Johnson shut Caitlin down. And I'm talking about made her get rid of the ball, like literally had to sit possessions out because she was all over her. That's redemption from the hand in the face. You can shoot. I'm not covering you. Tessa Johnson, 25 minutes off the bench, 19 points, big shot after big shot. And the same thing you talked about with Purdue. I needed more from Iowa. Caitlin went for 38-5, and then 16 for Katie Martin, 12 for Ofter, but then that was it. 7 women rotation, and that was not going to do it against that South Carolina team. So, I mean, there's that. Before I let you touch on that, I want to give, and because just so I can cut you off in case you connect on us again, I want to give Dawn Staley an absolute major shout out. Gold medals, 3 national championship, has replaced Gina Auriemma as the current GOAT in women's hoops right now. She is her right now in college. Shout out to her. She runs a great program, and shout out to her comment. How does she keep recruits? How does she keep people coming? Keep the parents happy. If you keep the parents happy, the kids come back. So shout out to Dawn Staley in South Carolina for just absolutely dominating run throughout this season, past 2 seasons, and this tournament. And then I will throw it to you after I read Ray's comment, because he's absolutely right. Dawn Staley is everything you want in a coach. Boom.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things there that kind of led them to this win was their depth. You look at it, 3 of Iowa's starters played all 40 minutes. You might have seen that from, Caitlin Clark, but 2 other ones who probably don't typically go 40 minutes. Only 1 South Carolina player played over 35 minutes. And then you look at the bench points, 0 bench points for Iowa and 37 bench points for South Carolina. That's your major difference there, because Iowa came out hot. They came out firing, but then South Carolina's ability to score just at will, no matter who was on the court, crushed their chances of keeping up. And that's kind of what happened with a well-coached team.
Am I allowed to do it?
No.
That's what that reminded. As soon as you said that, that's what that reminded me of. I didn't want to. You can't, like, I'm not going full imitation. I'm just saying. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. Facing our team switching defenders, like literally, they said Raven. I mean, she was going to lock Caitlin up for as long as she could, but everybody else, it was just beat us. We're going to play good basketball, and that's it. And that's what they do, and that's why they dominate, because they don't get out of the plan. They don't leave the plan. They don't leave the game plan. Period. End of story. They leave it for a couple of minutes throughout a game, and you make a run, and then they get back on the game plan, and you're down 20. So. We're going to switch gears only slightly. Stay with us, everybody, because we're going to talk about something that we had not normally talked about, but I want to touch up on it a little bit, and that would be the WNBA draft that just happened this week. I want to give those ladies a shout out. Highest rated WNBA draft of all time. Duh. I mean, this draft class is sick. These women have been balling. Their numbers and their stats in terms of TV has also been just amazing. But I mean, so we got to give it some love. Obviously, Caitlin Clark went number 1 to the Indiana Fever, but also Cameron Brinks went second to the Sparks. Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese both went to Chicago. I also want to give a shout out to, first of all those girls, but got to give a shout out to Chicago because picking up Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso and Brianna Maxwell is amazing for Chicago. You're not going to be able to score on them. LA, Cameron Breeks, Rakea Jackson, and Mackenzie Forbes. That is a dangerous lineup. And I want to give a shout out to our guy Rico on the Rulers Minute because he definitely did a sports or Rulers Minute about this. Go check that out. And that would be your defending WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces, who just decided to turn 4 picks into 1, Katie Martin of Iowa. Caitlin Clark's Robin, used to big games, big stages, is already ready for that. Elizabeth Kitley, a center from Virginia. Angel Jackson, a center from Jackson State. Oh, and Daisha Fair of Syracuse, just the 3rd all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's history. Y'all effed around and let the defending champions just clean up on you in the draft. Repeat inbound. So definitely shout out to there on the badass. Definitely shout out to there on the women on the WNBA draft side.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The Chicago Sky is going to be must-watch television every single night they play. They have personality, but they also have so much skill, and just absolutely lockdown defense is going to be insane. But going back on Caitlin Clark real quick, because I was seeing a lot of discourse that, because the reported salary that she's making leaked, and everyone was like, oh, how do you turn down that multi-million-dollar offer from the big 3 when you're only making, I think I looked it up, was about $84,000 a year? She's going to be making countless money on endorsements, so that's not even an issue. But
the Nike deal is unreal already. Signature shoe inbound. It's already been announced.
But pushing away from the money, is it so crazy to think that someone who just basically revolutionized the NCAA women's game might want to do something similar in the WNBA?
Right.
And do something that is much bigger than making maybe $1 million?
No offense.
When you maybe already have that in the bank. Like, that is something that is so much more profound. And maybe that isn't it. Maybe she just says, I don't feel like being part of the big 3. I want to be in the WNBA. But just the prospect of it is something that is super awesome to watch. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
The big 3. It's just big me. We're bringing rap beef to the pod. First of all, men, can we do better? We finally have a woman who's rocking in sports, and we're immediately like, don't come play with the boys. No, can you just let her be great in her league and be transcendent, like you just said, all the things that she was in college? The endorsement deals are unreal. She's going to get exposure. She's going to be the face of a league. This is what she wants. She wants to make this league something. So all of these girls, Ray talked about it because I want to. Reese and Cardoso together should be interesting, and the girls know each other. Like Angel Reese said, they've been playing against each other since high school. It's great for them to now play with each other, on the same team. That's going to be great. This draft class is going to boost up women's basketball if a couple of them stop hating on each other. Come on, girls. Come on, Diana Taurasi. Stop hating on these girls. If they embrace this, there's a big opportunity for all of these women to make a lot of money. Don't even talk. I don't want to talk about her going to the big 3 anymore. I think it's no disrespect, Ice Cube. I think it's a garbage idea. I do. I get it because he wants to do both, give her a lot of money, exposure, and make it for his league. But go dominate the WNBA. And here, everybody else who wants to complain about her salary, I saw the post and I love it. You don't like how much money these women make? Take your dollars, put it where it matters, and put your money where your mouth is, and subscribe to the WNBA season package for $39. I think it was $39.40 or $39.50, and give them your money, and that will give that's how they have more salary. That are bigger salaries. That's how they get more revenue sharing, and it's how they get more money, by you giving them your money. And listen, I get it. It's expensive to go to games, so I understand nobody wanting to necessarily go. I'm just in general. Going out is expensive now. So I'm not going to put it on anybody's pocketbook to be like, go spend the $100 in total with food and parking and everything else. Yes, I'm just saying, Dad, go to the games. And I get that, but go to the games. And if you're not going to go to the games, give them the package. Give them the money. watch them, give them viewership. You give them more viewership, and I know we opened the show talking about $16, right? I know, but if you double that for 2 weeks, and I'm just saying, you can get your 34. You're almost there. I'm just saying, give them viewership. That brings in sponsors. Go to the games. It give them more sponsors, more revenue, more money. That's how we support this. However, Indiana Fever already sold out.
Oh yeah.
So let's go. Indiana loves basketball though, so I'm just saying. But yes, so there we go. WNBA draft. Now, I guess we're gonna jump into the next segment. I'm gonna throw it up, and I'm gonna give next week's show spoiler, teaser, all of the above. Yes, we are gonna talk quickly about the NFL draft. However, next Wednesday, put it in your calendars, mark it down, write it up. Straub Bros Sports Show Draft Special. We will go pick by pick, all 7. No, I'm just joking. We will talk, but we're gonna have an entire show. Right? We're gonna go full. Kuiper and Todd don't got nothing on us. Okay, we're going full 7-round breakdown, pick by pick, mock draft. No, we are going to do a full show on the NFL draft that Wednesday, the day before the NFL draft. I'm going to talk about my Cowboys. Drew is going to talk about his Cleveland Browns. I want you all in the comment section talking about your Cleveland Browns. I'm going to spring it on him now and put it in the air and make it hopefully happen. I want Rico, to hop in and tell us what he wants out of the Falcons. I want Mel to potentially jump in and tell us what he wants from his Steelers. But we'll break down the first round. I want to talk about these quarterbacks. All going to be broken down extensively. I already have a full sheet of notes I have a whole show notes just for the NFL draft.
This is what happens when you care about the draft now, when you rely on the draft.
No, see, I hate when you say that, because you try to dig at my Cowboys, and thank you for the shout out, Mom. She's ready for next week already. I always care about the draft, no matter when I was good or not, and I'm still good. So I don't understand what the hell you were talking about. Congratulations, your quarterback is now able to throw full percent. So now
are we sure?
We'll see. However, let's talk about the draft a little bit. I didn't want to just ignore it, but I do want to touch on it a little bit. Your consensus overall pick number 1 is Caleb Williams. Cowboys need a running back room. Ray, we're going to talk about that very, very extensively. At least I will. Caleb Williams, your consensus number 1 pick to the Chicago Bears. However, 2 and 3 are not consensus. A lot of people are saying Jaden Daniels to Washington, Drake May to New England. A lot of people are saying Drake May to Washington, Jaden Daniels to New England. I don't like that. I think Washington should take Jaden Daniels, even though they're in my division and I don't want to play against him. I think New England, I know there's some rumors of them potentially trading down. I don't think so. I think they should take their quarterback, and I think they should gain a role from there. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I also think that, here's my condition here. Okay. I think New England loves Jaden Daniels. I don't know if they're sold on Drake May.
Okay.
So if you get to this draft and the Commanders do take Jaden Daniels, what does New England do from there?
I think you take Drake May, and I think you.
I think you do too. But this is a new organization. This is not a Bill Belichick organization. Do they do something different, or because it's one of his guys, do you stick to the plan?
Stop playing around with these mid quarterbacks. Seriously, go take a top one. If you fail, it's okay. You're gonna get a reset when you fail on one of those top guys. You get fired when you take Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. No,
Justin Fields didn't get you fired.
No.
Mitch Trubisky got you fired. So I'm just saying. So just play smart. I have another question for you. Or go ahead. Did you have more on the quarterback? Because I'm going right underneath Arizona when you're done.
So
that's why I said Pats and Ray put it. Pats reportedly 1 out of 3. I get that. I think it's dumb, but go ahead.
Yeah. And so I think this will lead up to your question here. You have these top 3 teams that need quarterbacks, but the other teams in the top 10, Tennessee, Arizona, the Giants, have older quarterbacks, Tannehill, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones.
Will Levis is in Tennessee, so they're out on a quarterback. So no,
but see, hold on.
They're all in.
Hold on. Obviously, Tennessee is a long shot on that, but it would be very interesting to me if they go quarterback to prep for the future, or if they're hitting the reset button or something like that, or if they tap into this absolutely loaded wide receiver class in Marvin Harrison.
I'm glad you froze up because you cut yourself off.
Romo Dunze, and also potentially Brock.
So I had to put him down there for a second, literally. But I'm glad that he took a second and was out on the wide receiver mix on that, because you kind of went a little too far ahead. I will take, and I'm gonna have to just I don't want you to get turned around, because you had a good point with some of those teams. We got to take Tennessee out. Tennessee's all in with Will Levis. They're there, so they're looking at Joe Alt at Notre Dame. However, Arizona, the Giants, 100%. The Giants are 100% in the mix for one of those teams who could possibly jump in and take one of the quarterbacks. My question was going to be with Arizona, with the unsure of how Kyler Murray has been, although at the same time, we're putting a little bit of disrespect on Arizona. When Kyler Murray was healthy, they were playing well. However, yes, I get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. Look, and we don't need to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot this week. Just go back and watch any show we've ever done, how much love we've been giving him, because I think he's one of the most gifted wide receivers we've ever seen, one of the most top talents we've had in all of college football this year. I think Arizona should trade out, and I get it, because I think they need too much. I think they should just jump down and grab one of these other wide receivers and pick up another pick, and let the Giants, let the Vikings, let someone else come up and get their quarterback. And I'm just, that's 100% how I feel. If you're sold on Kyler Murray and you want to put Marvin Harrison Jr. with him because you think that's the lethal 1-2 combo, I'm not going to say that you're dumb for taking one of the best players and a guy I have at number 1 in your draft. Like, I have no beef with that, but I'm just saying, if you're not 100% sold on Kyler Murray, then you sell this pick and you keep it rolling. And you put more pieces there, then you go and you think about a quarterback somewhere else. I think the Giants, I think they would be crazy to hang on to Daniel Jones, but I would love for them to just go ahead and take one of these wide receivers. I don't think it's going to matter for Daniel Jones. And the reason I was just saying, trade him to Minnesota. See, there you go. See what I'm just saying. I'm not sold on Kyler Murray, so I would potentially think about throwing that out there. And I also want to point this out. The reason I say this about Arizona trading out is, if you're going to trade out, you better do it before it gets to the Chargers, because more than likely the Chargers are going to have no problem selling out for a couple more picks. Now, obviously, they're in there at 5. You got Joe Alt of Notre Dame, everyone's consensus number 1 lineman to come off the board. You also could take one of those. You can make that face, but I've been diving into this draft. He's the consensus number 1 lineman.
No. I just mean, in terms of like illicit need, because I don't think the Chargers have a single, like maybe Joshua Palmer, but
that's what I'm saying. Right,
that wide receiver room is barren.
They would be an amazing place if, for some reason, Arizona did get out of there because somebody wanted a quarterback and they were able to pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. I wouldn't be mad at them if they turned around and took Malik Neighbors out of LSU or Romo Dunze. I mean, we talk about Marvin Harrison Jr., but we also haven't watched all of the scouting and some of the other inside tape. A lot of people have said that, and there's a lot of GMs that rank Odunze and Neighbors neck and neck with Marvin Harrison Jr. We can say how we feel. I'm just saying. So, and it depends on what a team is looking for in that specific skill set as well. So I'm just, that's a big thing. Quinyon Mitchell of Toledo, I want to give him a shout out as well, has had such a good pro day that he has absolutely vaulted up and potentially going number 8 to the Falcons. But somewhere in that first round, he's going to fall. Nick brought up something, the Chargers being linked to a tight end. Yes, they have been linked to Brock Bowers. That's also why if you're the Chargers, you could potentially move down. Because if you look above them, I mean, Tennessee, possibly, but Tennessee would probably, Tennessee would be more likely to take one of the wide receivers that are left on the board. So you potentially not have to worry about him going there. New York, same thing there. Atlanta needs some defensive help, so they're going to be looking for defense. Chicago Bears have to take whichever wide receiver is still left. So you might be able to trade down with the Bears, maybe do a swap with them, maybe let someone else come up for another quarterback and still get Brock. If you're the Jets sitting down there at 10, I mean, there's a big question there. Aaron Rodgers is getting older. Do we draft for the future on the offensive line end and stuff like that, or do we get him another weapon? And I'm going to get to our specific teams here in a second. So a lot of big things could potentially happen in the first round. We are, like I said, we're going to have a huge show about this and break some of this down. I don't want to get too far into the weeds now because I want to let everything develop to right before the day of the draft. But there's going to be some movement. Minnesota needs a quarterback. Las Vegas needs a quarterback. I mean, obviously Chicago, stuff like that. I do also want to point out, because we've been talking about those quarterbacks, I want to give myself some dap, if you don't mind. I want to give it to myself this week. I told you all during Heisman race that J.J. McCarthy was going to be a pro because the kid had some balls and he can make some throws. There are now reports that J.J. McCarthy has vaulted all the way up on a lot of people's boards to their third quarterback or fourth quarterback under Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Drake May. And you can make that face all that you want. I'm just saying, listen, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you real. Okay. I'm not giving it. This isn't some of this is an opinion. All right. This is these are things that are happening. JJ McCarthy is going to get drafted. All of these guys are going to get drafted. And I'm mad because I don't have my notes. Michael Penix Jr. is getting drafted. Bo Nix is getting drafted. Spencer Rattler is getting drafted. These guys are all getting drafted into prominent places where they can play.
Yeah. And listen, you're absolutely right. Everyone saw J.J. McCarthy's pro day and everyone was so enamored. Everyone also saw Zach Wilson's pro day and everyone was really enamored. So
of course.
I'm gonna pump the brakes a little on that, I'm gonna
kick you off the draft pod if you're gonna bring in that kind of negativity. This is draft time. It's only hope. Okay, that's it. I'm just saying. So I'm going full Mel Kiper on you, Drew. No, he's a first rounder. No, we're not gonna go that far. Now, Nick put it up. So I will now ask. I draft Bowers in the third. Oh, if he went there fantasy-wise. I like that. We're already putting the fantasy on it. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns real quick. Now, you do not pick. You have the 54th pick. That is your first pick. Now, we're going to go full draft nerd next week. However, in general, draft philosophy for your Cleveland Browns this year. What do you want to see? And I want to see it in the comments too.
So you obviously have a very good core, which is, we've known this for like a year or two. You have a great core that you're going to build around. Now, you have some depth issues in wide receiver, offensive line, linebacker, but I think those can be addressed in the later picks. I think your most pressing need right now is defensive tackle. I think that's a place that needs a guy in there. You have your defensive ends, but when you're running through the middle, there is a little bit of weakness there. And so that should be, I think, your first pick off the board. Whether that's Brady.
Pause. Now, and I'm going to ask Ray, because Ray said linebacker, Nick said and D line, Pops threw in offensive line. Now, are you three, is that what you want with the first pick out of you three? Throw that back in the comments for me, because then we can have that discussion. So you want a defensive end with the first pick and with your 54th pick.
Yeah, defensive tackle. Whether that's Braden Fisk out of Florida State, he might be a little too early. He might be gone before the time we get there, but amazing technique, extremely quick off the ball. Or two people that this Cleveland will know very well, Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State or Chris Jenkins out of Michigan. I think both of those guys are top-tier talent, especially Chris Jenkins, if I'm being honest, that I think would be absolutely amazing. I think those two guys would be really, really nice.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you, but I love to throw these in there. So Pop says first pick, best available player or wide receiver. Nick, O-line first pick, depth and future. I like the O-line their first pick.
I do.
Obviously you have to see where this draft folds and who is in front of you and who's there, obviously. But I like that. I like that. I want to throw this in here too. I like the addition of Hicks, not sold, linebacker depth, wide receiver in the fourth, Nick says, because this wide receiver, well, I want to say this, and I want to point this out because and I've said it, wide receiver is very deep in this draft. Wide receiver is very deep in this draft. However, wide receiver is deep only so far. Odunze, Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Xavier Worthy. And then there is a drop off a bit between some of these next guys. There is a lot of them there's a lot of B players in this draft on terms of the wide receiver. Instead of there being couple A's, couple B's, couple C's. There's a couple A's, and then I would say all of these other guys are a step below. So it is deep, but
and I agree. And I think that's why, because wide receiver, but also offensive tackle.
Mom wants a wide receiver too.
Those classes, I know you were skeptical on the depth of it, but those two, wide receiver and offensive line, are deep enough where I think if you get a defensive tackle first, then you can start picking through that depth and picking who you want. I think there's a lot less depth in defensive tackle, so you want to make that your priority, so you're not sitting in the third or fourth round going, there's no really anybody that we want left that's going to actually compete for a starting position. And so that's why I think defensive tackle before those other two positions, well, they are very high up there in terms of need.
I'm not shaking my head at you. First of all, I'm very glad we were able to take advantage of your good connection because this is great stuff. The comment section's blown up there. Nick and Ray are having a conversation between each other while they're also talking to us at the same time. I love it. And we're going to touch on more of this. I don't disagree with you guys. I think you absolutely should kind of start building more on the defense and your lines, and then you sprinkle in a playmaker when he pops up and he's best available. I'm going to switch, and I'm going to turn the tide a little bit. I have nothing. I don't think I have any Cowboys stuff around, so that's okay. I have the 24th pick. I get a first round one.
There you go.
I want a lineman. That's what I want first. I've seen the worst mock that I have read has us taking Xavier Worthy in the first round. And it's not that I want, bring on Wednesday. Absolutely, Pops. Like I said, it's going to be a full draft show. I'm going to touch back on my point there. It's going to be a full draft show. We're not doing anything else. Mom agrees with you. But yeah, the mock that I seen with Xavier Worthy was awful. It's not that I don't like this kid. It's not that I wouldn't want him in a Cowboys uniform. I don't know. I don't know if that's really what we need is more weapons. Yeah. We need running backs, and I don't want one in the first round. I've seen Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. I would absolutely love that. The problem is too, panic sets in the draft. There are linemen is top heavy. Once one goes, they are all going to follow, and that is going to be a very, very hard time for me if that does happen. If we take Xavier Worthy with that first pick, there just needs to be a concerted effort to then fill that offensive line, need some top picks. And this is what I don't like, because I do not like when we compete with each other for picks, but I need some linebacker help now that Leighton Vander Esch has retired. So we're going to be competing there as well. I have the 56th pick, so I picked two after you, after your first pick. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'm going to put it out. I want all the vibes out there, and I'm going to say it right now. A lot of the mocks with that pick had us taking a running back, and it's Jonathan Brooks. I think it's Texas, because I apologize, or Florida State. Jonathan Brooks is Texas. Okay, and I apologize. Duh. And I get it, a Texas boy, coming home to Texas to play for the Cowboys, but I'm sorry, no. Give me Audric Estime, please. Give me Sen, everybody. I need him on my team. Jersey will be bought. Pair him with Zach Martin, another Notre Dame guy, and with that 87th pick, thank you, Ray. And with the 87th pick,
hold on. I'm just save this.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I'll save what I want with the 87 pick. We'll go back and forth about that.
And with the 6th round pick and with the 7th round pick.
I'll do it. I listen. I'm already locked and loaded. I'm ready for this. I can do your team too. I'm so locked in on this draft. It's unbelievable. Okay, we will touch on that next week. Ray, Nick, Mom, Pops, listen. It's time to talk about. I know we touched on the Cleveland Crunch, the current champion of the city. It's time to talk about the hottest team in the city. Okay. The team with the best record in baseball, or I think tied or second now, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's time to guard the land, baby. It's time to talk about our Guardians because they are on fuego, baby. Okay. Overall. And I know we did drop one, but we got to talk about it. The hitting's been outstanding. The defense has been unreal. We won today. I did not. Between work
65, baby.
Yes,
or 5-4.
Or between work and pre-pod, I did not get to catch up. I'm going to be running it back later. The defense has been unreal, and the pitching has been clutch. That is 100% the way to put it. Quan looks amazing. Quan is right back to where he was in his rookie year. Jose is primed for another MVP season. Josh Naylor, baby. Josh bleeping Naylor. Let's go. Absolutely. Yankee series was tough. But we got through that. We did not get swept. We then rolled into Boston 6-0 in the first game, took the second one in 11, lost the third. Like I said, we won today. The top of the lineup is hitting. Tyler Freeman is playing some good center field defense and having some decent plate appearances. And then I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll throw it to you. Estevan Florial is the reason I can't make my next point because the man has taken off, is on fire after a couple weeks. Give me your thoughts on your immediate thoughts on the Guardians. Yes, Mom, they are. And then we'll get back into the comments because both of them, both Ray and Nick, asked a question, so I want to jump back to them after I get your immediate thoughts on the best team in baseball, the Cleveland Guardians.
Didn't see this one coming. But first, I don't think we mentioned it because we were off last week. Obviously,
we can put that one up. Like Ray said, all the offensive fears have vanished from 3 weeks ago. Hell yeah, baby.
We didn't touch on it because we were out last week. Obviously, from everyone who watches, Shane Bieber out for the year, Tommy John surgery, kind of dampened this entire big mood that we had.
Mm-hmm.
But there is so much good that it's kind of been ignored a little bit, where we're still second in run differential with 38. We're fifth in ERA. We have 5 players batting over 300 with at least 20 at-bats. And the craziest thing is we had all these guys, in AAA that were like, oh, maybe they're going to get up, if some of these guys are having bad games. But those guys that we thought they were going to replace them with are having good games. Arias is on fire the past 3 days. Florials was great against the Yankees. So, there is still some concern. And we're still
the Tristan news is brutal too. Because I'm going to put the damper wet blanket right on this.
So long term, this is still somewhat a concern because it's still early.
Yeah.
But this team is as fun as it was 2 years ago, maybe even more. And honestly, in the beginning of the season, this is what really matters right now. When we get to the business end, let's figure it out. Let's get the players that we need, yada, yada, yada. But right now, I'm having fun.
Yeah, but you also owe your pops money because you lost that bet.
With what?
The Tristan McKenzie news. Pops.
I didn't say nothing. Who was the one that said that this was going to be a World Series team with Tristan McKenzie? That was you, sir.
No. I said this
as
team.
Jace.
Calm down, sir. I said this team can win a World Series only when Tristan McKenzie is the ace, and he has to be healthy and pitch like the ace. I didn't say we were going to win a World Series, but Tristan McKenzie, the elbow is jacked. Same as
going through rehab.
Same as Bieber. I mean, it's the same as Bieber. I mean, he can still be good, and I'm not saying he's not going to be. I'm just saying we're not going to win anything substantial until McKenzie is hurt and not hurt, healthy, the ace, pitching like we know he can. When he's that guy, when he's what Bieber was with his stuff, that's when this team is World Series contender. That was my point. what I meant, called that one, and on Pops was Pops said that the news is coming that elbow was jacked. You could just tell it didn't look good. And that's a man who's watched a lot of baseball. So there, I'll give you your props for being old this time. But
well, they said he's going through rehab. There's no surgery, so it's potential that he rehabs. It's okay for the season. Obviously, long term, we're gonna figure that out. But right now, it's not as bad as it could be.
Right, but the unfortunate part, and this is what everybody's getting at, this is baseball. You can rehab and feel good, and then you go to start putting those innings on, and it's gonna flare up at some point. So at one point, is it worth just allowing him to shut it down and take care of whatever damage might be there? But we'll see. Like I said,
we don't have the best record in baseball.
Right. But see, I don't.
Then we'll talk about it.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, they did. They picked up they moved for Pedro Avila. They made another pitcher. We absolutely have to. But Florial's on fire, and I will give him that. But that if he was not, we would be talking about, and Nick can bring that up because he brought it up. It might be time to call in a couple of these kids down to play right field. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because you have
a
couple of those guys struggling, and but the issue is you have these guys that are struggling, but it's not like a couple years ago where it was a half-season slump. These guys are struggling for like a week or two, and then they get right back up, and so it's hard to say that you want to make these moves when they're not doing terribly. You know what I mean? It's really hard to just get move on from them so quickly when they're up and down.
And now, if Florial is going to be the guy that you leave there, I'm okay. But I've seen enough of Florial. I'm good. It's all right.
That's fair.
Yeah, Curry. Yeah, Curry. He absolutely looked good. That's why I said just kids. I've said this. So if you're talking about me, if you're talking about me making the decision between like a veteran or a kid, I want the kids. So I'm just saying that's
I like that idea, right? I like that idea.
Yeah, bring in Gronk and absolutely. If you haven't seen it, Gronk spiked the baseball. Just whatever. I'm done with Gronk. I'm over it. I also do like this. Both pitching moves that we made were for cash. In the past, the Guardians are trading a prospect or a player. 100% is normally what they do. So I was good to see that they were cash moves. The one was a international money, and I saw a bunch of people complaining. Well, there are all these international players. Most of the international players that we sign, that we get, are through trades. We don't normally guys don't normally sign with us straight out of Japan or from the Dominican. It doesn't happen. That's not how we got Hosey. It's not how we got Lindor. So I get it because we have a history with these players. And, between you're going back to Sandy Alomar, you're going back to Victor Martinez, you're talking about Carlos Santana. All these guys were acquired for the most part. So calm down. It's okay.
Also, speaking of
Nick
prospects,
brought it up. Hold on one second before you do touch on the prospects, because I'll throw you prospects. I was trying to get Nick's comment up, but it froze on me because he had mentioned that Laureano has a cannon. But yeah, Chase is on his behind. Absolutely. There we go. Chase is on his behind. Absolutely. Like I said, veterans out, kids up. Hosey DH. When Naylor's not there. Go ahead.
Speaking of prospects.
Yes.
As we know, the Cleveland Guardians have the number 1 pick, and the draft is in 3 months. And so that will be a very exciting time as well. Granted, let's hope we're still in playoff race at that time, because I am still pessimistic, but
that's fine.
Something to hope about, even if we don't.
And we'll talk about the MLB draft when we make our first pick. But we're talking about either somebody out of college, which we can talk about, or we're talking about a high school
kid from Georgia and a kid from Oregon State, who they can rip the cover off of baseball.
Is the kid from Georgia the guy who just hit 4 was the one who was hitting 4 home runs? Yeah, just hitting bombs. Yeah. How did we get the number 1 pick, Nick? If I had to bet the podcast on telling you how the draft works for the MLB, I would lose the podcast because I have no idea.
So I can kind of explain it. It's very similar to the NBA.
And radio's back at you. The Central's chance. We will have a chance. Absolutely. As long as we continue to hit. But go ahead.
So it kind of works at the NBA. There's balls and percentages, so no one can tank. But the
Orioles rule.
the percentage that we had to get the number 1 overall pick was the same as when the Cavs had it to get Kyrie.
Let's go.
So it was like, it was very similar. So like, it was so low that we could have got this number 1 pick, and I don't think we've ever had it. I think it's our first number 1 overall pick ever. And so this is a lot of fun because either one, the Georgia kid or the Oregon State kid,
sure,
either one is going to be incredible, and I can't wait.
Bombs. I can't wait to get a kid who hits bombs and let him sit in the minors until he runs out of chances and he's not as good anymore and we waste his talent. Sorry, you brought in the pessimism about the Guardians, so I pooped on you. Right,
new generation, baby.
Yeah, that, and you're right, Nick. That's awesome that we got that pick. And he's right. The Orioles tanked for years and now are one of the best teams in baseball because of it. And then baseball got rid of that rule because baseball was behind and the Orioles were ahead of and got smart. Period. Because it worked. All right. Awesome. We were slow at first, but now we're rolling. We are absolutely through. So that was guarding the land. Now it is time to switch gears and give out some weekly awards. It is time to give out honorary Straub Bro of the week. Stand out, be a bro, create your own wave. Straub Bro of the week brought to you by Create Your Own Wave Apparel. Don't ride the wave, create the wave. Follow Create Your Own Wave on Instagram, Create Your Own Wave 2021. Boom. Bro, give out some bros.
Well, we're going to give out bro. You're going to give out bros on bros on bros on bros. But we'll do mine first. My one, and we're going to get into it in the next couple segments, is a player that is a homer pick. I don't do it terribly often because I try to keep it a little bit to just best performances. But this guy had an insane performance. And that is none other than Chelsea midfielder Cole Palmer. Now,
the laugh is not a Cole. The laugh is not a Cole Palmer. The laugh is you having 1 and me having 100.
Yeah, exactly. And so the only reason why I do this is because Cole Palmer has been an insanely good player this year. He's been our player of the season by a mile. But something incredible has happened. Something that we honestly didn't think from last year was going to really happen. Cole Palmer, with his hat trick against Everton in a 6-0 win on Monday, has currently been tied with Erling Haaland for the top scorer, the Golden Boot trophy, heading into the final stretch of the season. Coming from a season where Erling Haaland scored 100,000 goals and was untouchable last year, they are both tied at 20 goals apiece, and this is going to be, even if Chelsea doesn't have a chance for any European or trophies, this is going to be a fun end of the season to see potentially my player since Nicholas Anelka win a Golden Boot. So I am very excited to see that. And so that is my Straub Bro of the week. Great performance.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo or Ruud van Nistelrooy was last time we had a Golden Boot. Or no, Rooney. Rooney's got a season in there for sure.
It's got half.
Yawn. Shout out to next year's Manchester United player Cole Palmer. I cannot wait to see you back in your boyhood club.
$200 million. That is the minimum.
Fine, and we'll write the check.
He'll end up like Mason Mount.
Come on home. That's not a thing that I'm joking about. Yes, Cole Palmer, the person that he's giving all of this love to with his jersey, is a lifelong Manchester United fan. He will be here soon, so I don't worry about that. You can have that'll probably be the last time you'll be able to praise him. So get it all in. Get all your Straub Bros of the week, because I'll be throwing them back. So first of all, Ray, you're wrong.
Wow, that's a surprise.
It is not Caitlin Clark. However, the funniest, and this is legit. So yes, sometimes Straub argues with me and I argue about him. Sometimes we do a PTI. I'll take a point, you take a point. But 99.99% of this is 100% organic, yelling back and forth when we disagree, yelling back and forth when we agree. Very rarely have we ever been like, I'll take this point, you take that point. The Straub Bros of the week are legit. Andrew comes up with one. I give out as many as I damn well please, and I don't care. I'm full, just, it doesn't matter. The rules are, they're the point. Straub Bros of the week for me are the points in whose line is it anyways, okay? They don't matter. I just give them out whenever I want. They matter, but I just give them out however I want, okay?
That's such a legit reference.
It's so outdated.
God. Like, I know what you're talking about, but good Lord.
I have 10.
No. Hold on here. No, hold on here. Hold on, here.
He leaves me up here by himself. That's not funny. No, come back because I at least need your laughter and your commentary as I go back to it. All right, I'm gonna hand out some real quick ones. Because we already talked about them, but they have to get their deserved Straub Bro of the Week award. Dawn Staley in the South Carolina women, Dan Hurley in the UConn men. That was all. All right, just name the team. Right. I don't like you guys at all. I'm not happy with this. It's my show. But yes, Dawn Staley, South Carolina, Dan Hurley in the UConn men. The WNBA draft are doing those major numbers, so technically that would be Caitlin Clark in there, but I think that counts as one. The Naylor brothers, we have to give them some love for hitting home runs on National Sibling Day last week. There is no way a show that is two brothers cannot point out the Naylor brothers, Bo and Josh, for hitting, Dad said it, the Naylor Bros, for hitting home runs on National Sibling Day.
Fair enough.
UFC 300 was this past weekend. My brother was here for it. Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, the fight of the century, but the last 10 seconds were the best thing you have ever seen in combat sports. Max called him into the center like he always does. Amazing finish, knocked him out, got his 60K with his fight of the night and performance of the night bonus. Not to be outdone in the main event was Alex Pereira, who had a low blow, waved off Herb Dean, knocked Jamel Hill to the ground, finished the fight, gave you this. Not to be outdone.
Is that 5 or 6?
I don't know. I lost count. Scotty Scheffler on winning the Masters. Absolutely. An amazing Sunday performance. They got close after DeChambeau kind of lost it, and Scheffler just ran away with it. Number one golfer in the world right now. Tiger Woods for his extending his cut streak and making me believe up until Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah, that was good.
I love you. And then last but not least.
Oh, okay. I missed some.
This one is for Ray too. And this one is for all of us. America's team, Wrexham FC, for gaining automatic promotion again. We will see them in League One next season, joining Mansfield Town and Stockport. So I guess that's technically 2 more Straub Bros of the week. For also gaining automatic promotion. This also means, Ray, you can now watch Wrexham FC on ESPN Plus. They will be there for you. I think in total that is 12 Straub Bros of the week, at least 10. Whew. Straub Bro of the week, once again, brought to you by Create Your Own Wave. Don't ride the wave. Create your own and create as many Straub Bros of the week as you want.
There. I had to cut out there just to actually get a break there.
I understand. Yes, Wrexham. Awesome. Okay.
Never again.
Sorry,
Never again.
Don't give me 2 weeks off. I apologize. All right. Straub Bros of the week are done. It's time to kick it around. It's time for the footy. Whew. What a week of some footy. It started with the Champions League quarterfinals. Those were decided. We had both legs while we were off. Yes. And I'm going to do these in my order, but you see them on the screen. Borussia Dortmund, they're in the middle. Advance over Atletico Madrid 5-4 after 2 legs. I mean, that was just crazy. Yeah, Dad's ready for the footy. PSG move on after feeding Barcelona 6-4 in aggregate. Bayern 3-2 after 2 legs. Send home Arsenal. And the best one of them all, Real Madrid 4-4 aggregate, 4-3 on penalty kicks, knockout defending champions Manchester City. Oh, Sean, I wish you were here.
You laugh at City. I laugh at Arsenal.
Amazing. Both England teams, thanks for coming. See you later. Goodbye. Absolutely. Mom's leaving us on the footy. She's going back to work. We love you, Mama. I know Mama has no idea what we're talking about on the footy. That's okay. It's all right, Mom. I get it. But everybody else, stay in. We got this. You get to laugh at Arsenal. I get to laugh at City. I also get to laugh both English teams. Like I said, goodbye. See you later. setting up the Champions League semifinal. I do not know if you do have a graphic for that, but that's okay.
I do not. It is on the 30th, so we got some time.
That's okay. I will say this. We have Borussia Dortmund versus PSG. We have Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. But, bro, other than us both laughing at both English teams being eliminated, anything else surprising there?
The only thing that I
both
think
Spanish teams being dumped out
is interesting to look at is on one side, you have Dortmund and PSG.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, you have Bayern and Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
This could potentially set up a Dortmund versus Bayern Munich final.
Which, an all-German final. The last time it happened at Wembley. Hey, Drew, where's this year's final?
Wembley.
Boom. Yeah, that would be amazing. The all-German final.
Two bitter rivals, by the way.
100%.
My buddy Tyler, who cooks on this podcast all the time, adores Dortmund, but has very low expectations, even if that does happen. So,
because let's be honest, they were supposed to lose to Atletico. They were supposed to move. They were supposed to lose to Atleti, and so there are huge. Like I said, both Spanish teams knocked out, like both English teams. We don't revel in that as much as we revel in our rival English teams going sent home. I mean, but there's major storylines into play. Like you said, it is on the 30th. We will touch way more into that as we get closer. But I do want to point this out. Like you said, Dortmund and Munich, Wembley in play, an all-German final. Borussia Dortmund looking to help continue to destroy Bayern Munich's stranglehold on the Bundesliga. More on that to come. I have something to throw in on that later.
That should have been my Straub Bros of the week.
That is 100. I mean, I could have just added it in. I was already wrong.
You're right. I was surprised that wasn't one of them.
There you go. But Dortmund looking to do that. Bayern looking to get Harry Kane his first major trophy and win something in the or in football this year, since they've won nothing else. You have Real Madrid, the most storied Champions League team in history, looking to add another to their endless trophy case of trophies and shit. PSG looking to become only the second team, almost at first, becoming the second team in France ever to win the Champions League and stick it to their rivals Marseille, because they are the only other team who has won it, and the amount of billions that PSG has had pumped into them to win this thing. Storylines all over the place, major for any of the teams who could potentially win it. We will touch on that much, much more, like I said, as we get closer, because, and I know we're not supposed to talk about the other football and the footy, but because next week's all draft. So, and then we'll get it rolling. But so that's your Champions League review, bro. It is time to do our EPL run-in. So there's your results. I mean, I'm not going to hit heavy on a lot of these individual results. We will touch on it. Manchester City 5-1 over Luton. Chelsea, as he said, 6-0 over Everton. Manchester United, Bournemouth 2-2. I mean, we just continue to do just exactly that, which is play like garbage and play mid. And that's why we have 0 goal differential, or I do believe a negative goal differential now, because that's what we are as a team, a 2-2 team. But it's we got to talk about it, my guy. 6 games left, okay? 6 games left. 2 points separating Manchester City and second place Arsenal and third place Liverpool. It is time to talk about this last bit of run-in. It is time to get heavy on this, because as much as I love me some Manchester United, and as much as you love you some Chelsea, and as much as Dad loves him his Newcastle, we've got a Premier League title race to talk about. Now, Arsenal and Liverpool absolutely bottled it this week. Both dropped points. Liverpool losing to Crystal Palace. Arsenal losing to, I can't remember. Aston Villa, there you go. I turn these questions right over to you. Did they blow it? And I'm glad Sean's not here, because we roasted him, but now he'd be just running us up in the comments. Did Arsenal and Liverpool blow this?
They haven't blown it, because I think City still have a loss in them.
Oof.
One. I think they have one loss in them, and so it's salvageable.
I mean, the noise I made is because we made fun of them for losing to Real Madrid. It took penalty kicks to take Manchester City out. So they're not going to go down without a fight. And now they're going to be pissed off. So
yes, but like I said, they have a loss, so it's not over. But Liverpool, how do you lose to a 14th place Crystal Palace team at home? And then Arsenal. Obviously, I laughed my butt off when I saw that score.
I know.
But in all serious, I think Pep Guardiola has a deal with a higher power because I don't understand how both teams at home can lose to
Yeah.
teams below them that they've shown are so superior then.
Right.
Because that team, the Aston Villa team that we just talked about, they just drew 3-3 against Brentford and they couldn't score. They lost 2-0.
Yeah.
I don't understand what is going on here. Like I said, it's got to be something spiritual, but good
Even spiritual.
Lord,
Deal.
I don't understand.
Go
Also, shout out to Luton
ahead.
Town because that one goal they did score against Man City was scored by none other than Big Boss Ross Barkley.
Love it. Big balls roast. You gotta say it like Rick Ross. Big balls roast. White boy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna get us in trouble. I'm bringing rap beef into the podcast. So the problem is, I mean, and first of all, Arsenal goal differential there plus 49, best in the league, but it's dried up.
Don't matter.
All of the goals are currently the rain that's in Dubai. The goals have absolutely dried up. I'm sorry. I apologize if I don't know if I was allowed
That
to make
was
some jokes.
so offhanded.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. Because I don't know if anybody actually got hurt or anything. So that was kind of an ignorant comment to make. If somebody did, I apologize. But it was so funny. The goals have dried up.
Yeah.
Period. Liverpool. I think the funny part about Liverpool has looked shaky for weeks now. I mean, the result before the Atalanta game, Atalanta thumped them. They were winning 1-0. Did they complete the comeback? Did they do some stupid? What was the final today?
I want to say it was 3-1, but let me double
Beautiful.
check if they scored like in the final minutes.
Beautiful. All I
Yeah,
know
3-1
is
final score.
so that means Liverpool eliminated from the Europa League, which means Liverpool went from the quadruple to the treble to the double to barely in for the single. And I love this so much. But it's their own fault. I mean, I think the problem is the whole Jurgen Klopp retirement tour. It hit its peak about 2-3 weeks ago, almost last month.
Yeah.
And the problem is they haven't been able to recover. They were on such a high. It dipped and they're exhausted. They look tired. They look, so that would be that for them. Like I said, Arsenal, the goals have dried up. And the unfortunate part is when goals dry up, good luck, because sometimes it takes a couple weeks. But now you're getting into the time of the year where you don't have a couple weeks.
You need it.
Number one.
And that defense isn't good enough to hold on to leads.
And number one. Number two, I think the shocking part is Mikel Arteta, the head coach of Arsenal, manager of Arsenal, the gaffer. Yeah, I went the whole gamut there. He's yet to actually convince us that he can win one of these. The whole thing was Arsenal were supposed to have learned from last year when they bottled it up and they lost it. And it doesn't look like they're learning anything. Now we've got 6 games left to go, but this is around last year when they started to stumble and lose points. Our Liverpool's a little bit more disappointing. Let's never hold on. Pause.
For everyone else except for you.
There you go. It's a more shocking result because Jurgen Klopp has been in these title races. He's done this before. That Borussia Dortmund Bayern Munich final that we talk about, that underdog Borussia Dortmund team that made it to that Champions League final was coached by none other than Jurgen Klopp, bringing the full circle. No, they did not win, but you were not beating that Bayern Munich team. None of those Bayern Munich teams were being beaten.
I did the year before.
There you go. But you're not. You threw me off with your shit. I'm sorry. But Jurgen Klopp has been in these title races. He won the one with Liverpool. He's won the Champions League with Liverpool. He's won. So to see them start to bottle this up, do you know what that tells me? And if you're still checked in here and you're fully on the footy, you got this. But if you're not here, I'll bring it back to a team we know very well. Reminds me of the Guardians. Last 2 years, when Tito wasn't able to be there full time, he wasn't checked out. But in terms of being the full-time manager, you have to be checked out when you're not there all the time. I think Klopp's done. I think he's checked out. I think he's mentally done. And I think he hit that point before he wanted to. You don't get to decide that. That just happens. You know, guys, players talk about it all the time. When do you know it's time to retire? When you don't want to
just know.
do, yeah, you just know. It tells you, the body tells you, or you don't want to get up for practice anymore, or you don't want to go to, you know what I mean? Charles Barkley says when you start doing all those extra pump fakes because you can't jump. Like, I think Klopp is done. Now, watch, they could storm back and still win the title, but the results have not been good. At least Arsenal is still in some games, but the results have been bad for Liverpool. So I think that is a problem. Now, the run-in. Let's talk about the run-in. Liverpool have Fulham this weekend and then Everton on Wednesday. Now, listen, I'm not going to say they shouldn't, that the Fulham game is a throwaway, but they should. I know they should have beaten Crystal Palace. Take care of Fulham, but Everton as well, a rival. Everton would love nothing more than to end Liverpool's title hopes. Drew, can Liverpool, and I will go to Arsenal and then to City next, can Liverpool get through these next two games with at least 4 points?
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind that they will get at least 4 points.
Okay.
The issue is if they don't get 6, that might be it.
Yep.
And the issue is when, like I said, so we look at this weekend preview: Liverpool, Fulham, Arsenal, Wolves, relatively games that they should win. If they don't, it's a calamity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the weekday preview.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool at Everton, and let me show you something. Everton, 16th, 2 points above safety. They have a chance to destroy Liverpool's chances at winning a trophy.
Nothing is scarier than a desperate team,
especially
as
your rival.
That's in all sports, right? A desperate team that's your rival. That's in all sports. But I'm telling you right now, those teams down there at the bottom, the ones who aren't decided, obviously Sheffield United, thank you for coming. They are going down. Luton Town has a chance to get out of there. Forest is hanging on. Everton is still there. Those teams are going to be fighting like hell because here's the other thing. Yes, wanting to win a championship is 100% the goal on everybody's mind. But being desperate to stay up in the Premier League brings results towards the end of the season that decide title races. Because sometimes when those teams show up and give you everything that they possibly have for one game, and you're not up for that game because you still have 4 other ones to worry about ahead of it, and they don't, that breeds a possible result. So Everton, absolutely looking there. That's why we not looking past the Fulham game. Fulham are safe. They have nothing to play for. They will not be playing in Europe. They're not going to be relegated. That is a team that can be looking up. Hey, I kind of don't want to get hurt. Hey, I need to play this many minutes. Hey, I'm going to rest this ankle or this, or, whatever ailment it might be. Not Everton. Everton needs 3 points. Liverpool needs 3 points. Everton needs 3 points desperately. So that's them. Jumping over to Arsenal. Arsenal have Wolves, the same part. And you know what, bro? I'm going to have you leave the table up. I'll walk them through the games that we're going to talk about because I think the table is that most important part. Love you, big dog. Arsenal have Wolves, like we talked about. Look, Wolves sit in 11th, right above Fulham in 12th. Not a whole lot to play for. Yes, they want to stay mid-table, but they're going to be mid-table. They're not going to play in Europe. They're not going to be relegated. Arsenal should take care of Wolves. But they also have a huge midweek game where they play little bros Chelsea. Now, one thing Chelsea has been is mid like me. I've just been a little bit better on the midder. But
you're close,
Chelsea,
buddy.
Oh, I know. But Chelsea shows up for the big 6 and the big games you have all year. And you would also love to take out your biggest rivals' chances at the title as well. How do you turn Arsenal's 2-game run into 3 points only?
Oh, I want this one so bad. I want this so bad. Listen, we are at the Emirates, so it's not in our favor like it is Everton. Mm-hmm. However, this is a game that I have a feeling Arsenal is going to be insanely nervous for.
Oh, sweaty palm time.
Like Liverpool, as long as they kind of resettle themselves against Fulham, I think that they can work against Everton and kind of tune it out. Arsenal have so much riding on this, and this is one of their only tough games left this year.
Can't bottle this.
You
Can't do it again.
cannot lose this game in front of your home fans against a Chelsea team that has owned you for the past couple years, that you are now turning the tides. But what if you do?
I love it.
And that is the issue. This Chelsea team has nothing to lose. This Chelsea team is getting hot at the right time. We'll get into this later. A win or lose in the FA Cup honestly doesn't matter to them at this point. I know they want a trophy, but if they lose, that's just more motivation to knock this Arsenal team out of the title race. I am so excited for this game. Even at I don't care if we play. I am so excited to just ruin this team's chances at anything this year.
That is that is amazing. I have my United jersey. We'll talk about that in a second. Because you mentioned the FA Cup.
You're playing this week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, whatever. Sheffield United. Yeah, congratulate. It'll be 2-2. It'll be 3-3, something along that lines.
Yeah.
Here's where I have to give, and it is fair to point out, Manchester City do not play this weekend, obviously, because they play FA Cup, and they play Brighton on Thursday. A tough game, but still, Manchester City.
A winnable game.
Yes. This is where Pep Guardiola, Zinedine Zidane, Real Madrid head coach and manager. Yes.
Yes, that guy.
Great.
Jose Mourinho as well for other coaches.
No.
What I'm saying, other coaches.
Got you. No, but that's not. I didn't want to say Jose Mourinho, so don't throw that name out there. That's not who I was looking for. Great players who transition to great coaches, and I'm not saying that Mikel Arteta is not a great coach. He's a very good coach. The problem I'm seeing for this Arsenal team, and I am speculating a little bit, but you can see it in the way they play too. Pep Guardiola is amazing because as a player, there's no way he didn't get nervous and he didn't get up for those big games. But as a coach, he keeps it very cool and very relaxed, very pep. Jurgen Klopp, other guys who haven't played, kind of can develop that style, to that point. It kind of very much seems sometimes like Mikel Arteta gets very nervous, player nervous, before some of these games, and I think it translates to his team's nervousness, because in his mind, I can be nervous before the game because when the game starts, I can get this energy out and I can be focused. But you're the manager. You can't show that to your team or bring that vibe to the locker room, or they're going to carry it. And I think it hurt Arsenal last year. I think his lack of winning some of those bigger silverwares are hurting him because he hasn't figured out how to do it. Well, Arsenal, you better figure it out, because if you F this game up against Chelsea, you're done. Manchester City is going to run away. And this is the problem for both of these teams. Both of these teams have to try to take 6 and hope maybe Brighton can get a result.
Yeah.
Because now now here's the thing. Everyone's out of Europe. All 3 teams, like we said, Manchester City eliminated, Arsenal eliminated, Liverpool eliminated, all eliminated from European competition yesterday and today. Now, there's no excuses. You all have the same amount of training sessions. You all got the same amount of games left. It's put up or shut up time. Who's got their team best ready? Who is most mentally strong?
Yeah.
So we will see. It is going to be an amazing 6-game run-in. We're going to be all over it here on the Straub Bros Sports Show. We may have to bring back a Footy Friday. For this is going to get serious.
Potentially.
Okay. Enough of all these other teams. It's time to talk about us real quick. Give me that graphic. FA Cup semifinals this weekend. Manchester City. Watch it here. Chelsea at Manchester City. Bro, how do you do it? How do you upset? How do you stop the possible double that Manchester City could pull off?
You pray that they're not that mad after not getting knocked out of the Champions League. Listen, this is a monumentally tough task, but we haven't lost to City this year. We've drawn them both games. So obviously this team has performed kind of poorly in pressure situations. The League's Cup against Liverpool, some just back against the wall moments we just haven't looked great. But we have the potential to get over those humps, and that just you're waiting for that one domino to fall to kind of get you going. And if there was ever a time to do it, it would be this. However, this is Manchester City coming off a brutal loss in the Champions League quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And I am very, very scared. So just, make this one close and don't break my heart too much.
Not in the face. So, quick question for you. Would you rather have a Manchester City team that thumped Real Madrid and is flying high and playing phenomenal football, or the Manchester City team that gets eliminated by Real Madrid and is pissed off?
I think the one that wins, because if we're talking levels of trophy of like the three, this is the lowest on the list. So you're at least like, okay, he's going to give a little less on this one. He's got this in the Prem to go for.
It would have kept the back-to-back treble possibility alive, though. That's where,
of course, but at least he's gonna put a little bit less significance on this trophy. Now he's like, screw it, let's at least try to get the double. And it's going to be a very, very tough game. I don't think we're gonna get more than 40% possession. It's gonna be difficult, and it's gonna be me pacing back and forth, hoping they don't score within the first 20 minutes.
I get it. I do. I think you can do this. Just think of think of Manchester United, Liverpool, in the quarters. I think you can do this, kid. And for the sake of the show, to be able to have a possibility of a Manchester United Chelsea final would be possibly just the most amazing thing. I think we would absolutely set up a live watch along. We would have to. It would be amazing.
I'll be home.
Now, Manchester United versus Coventry City. Little bro, how do I get this done?
You don't blow it.
I will bleeping fly to England. I will drive to England and I will mess some shit up. Okay? All right?
Don't blow it.
Does he know that you can't drive to England? Yes, I know. I'm just saying I will drive there in a Tesla. Because those can't they don't know? They don't just drive in the water. Oh, okay, my bad.
No.
What about the big Tesla truck that looks like some stuff Landon draws?
I mean, it's probably has some floating capability. That's just because it's poorly designed.
And I keep using the phrase, don't bottle this, don't blow it. That's how this is it. Just don't blow this.
Don't blow it.
It's it. It's Coventry City. They're a great story. Their fans are gonna be fired up. This team is going to come out flying in the first 15 minutes of the game. They're going to come out and they are going to pelt us with everything that they have got, which means we're going to give up a goal early on and we're going to have to chase the fucking game. This team, my team, has given up more shots, or the second most shots in the Premier League. The only team that has given up more shots than my team is Sheffield United, who are going down. Who are going down.
They're going down. Yeah, they're going down.
So, yeah. I don't even know who's going to be healthy for this game. Other than Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford and Garnacho and Kobe Mainoo. So I know my midfield is healthy. My back line is in shambles. So I don't know, because Ten Hag, he can get up and he can be very tactically good sometimes against some of these bigger teams. Minus the second half against Manchester City. We've competed in some of the bigger games this year. Obviously we beat Liverpool and then played them close in the second game, or the game we played after them. But if I'm Ten Hag, you have got, and I don't know about Casemiro. I'm going to scream because he's 147 years old. I love him and all, but you've got to start Kobe Mainoo. You've got to start Scott McTominay, and you've got to sit them back in front of the back four, and you've got to hold in for 15 minutes, counterattack like we do, but stay compact like you did for the first half of that Manchester City game, where they played the best defensive half I've ever seen because they were being pelted and they did the best they could. But hold strong, wear Coventry City out, win the game, go to Wembley. We'll see you either big city rival to stop the double, or see you little bro to have the best bro war we've had since the podcast has started.
This is going to be a rough weekend.
Absolutely. All right, we're moving on. Let's come home before we fly back out. It is time. Oh, I apologize. I'm clicking buttons I'm not supposed to. Go ahead and fix it. There we go. It's time for our MLS mix-up. That's what I called it. I don't know. I think I might have stole that from the guys on the Apple TV, but I can't remember if theirs was what there was. MLS preview. Bro, I want you to throw out some of your best results of the weekend.
Yes.
As you see, colors of the winning team, gray is draw.
Yes. So we got two actually really good games this week. First one, Orlando City 3, DC United 2. Now, Orlando City was down 2-1 in the 80th minute, but Orlando has scored 2 goals in the 82nd minute and in stoppage time to get all 3 points, as they've kind of revived themselves from a rough start. To put that in perspective, 7 out of their 8 points that they currently have come from their last 3 games. So really they had a really rough start, but they're starting to get their feet. They're starting to play like the team that they did last year, and so that'll be good. And as for DC United, up and down season so far, and that continues in today's game.
Okay, so I've got a couple things. I got a couple big points I want to hit, and I want to hear how you feel about them afterwards, okay? First things first, thank you, Portland. Thank you, Portland. Appreciate you. For tying, yes, LAFC, but getting that red card in there too. Charlotte continues to impress. I mean, 100%. They absolutely deserve all that love. And I mean, you're shaking your head in agreement because there's not a whole lot to say there. Chicago is bad. San Jose's worse.
Oh my, yeah. San Jose. Well, we talked about it. They didn't really add anybody in the offseason. They lost Cade Cowell to Chivas, and this team just there's nothing going forward. Absolutely nothing going forward, and it's really bad to watch.
Yeah, 100%. In Chicago as well, it's not great there.
But look at you.
Hold on, pause, slow down. Inter Miami, yes, in charge in the East, but top heavy as hell, like we all talked about, and they need big goals from their stars. They need them to absolutely outclass people, or they're not going to survive games.
No.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, because that defense is they spent a lot of money on the offense is what I can say. And so they can score goals, but they're also giving up a lot in these games where they're going to rest Messi, they're going to rest Busquets, they're going to rest all these older players. You can't rely on your defense in these scenarios, especially you gave Yedlin to Cincinnati, and so that's even another guy who's not a consistent starter on that team. So that's where their trouble is going to lie. You have some old, very good, but old attacking players that need their rest, and when you have that rest, you are going to lose points.
100%. I also want to point out, and it's so funny when Inter Miami does this, when they'll bring Busquets on in like the 75th minute. What do you do? Leave that guy on the bench. Let him rest. Messi, I get it. Although we talked about this preseason. Sergio Aguero. Sorry, players I hate was running through my mind. Luis Suarez can't practice because of his back injury, but we're just going to throw him out there when we're in desperate need. I mean, yeah, when they get rolling and they go, they can score, but yeah, they're going to give up goals. And later on in the season, this team is going to tax and wear out. They started to run out of steam in the MLS Cup run that they made last year. When they first brought Messi in, they were already running out of steam. So you give this team a whole entire MLS season, which is very, very long, and then you throw in I don't know. I just don't think Inter Miami has enough. Next year, they'll be fine now that the MLS opened up more DP spots, more roster room, more money available. But in the meantime, that's an issue there. Also moving on. Columbus continuing to drop points, but not enough, I think, to really be too concerned because everyone just expected, they're going to blow through and they're going to be the Columbus that they were last year and the champion. But dropping points, but I don't think a lot to be concerned of, just because if we were to throw up the table here in a second, you'll see they're still in playoff position. They're going to be, and that's okay. Because if you're a team like Columbus with the runs that they have made to the MLS Cup and being MLS champions, they just want to get in the playoffs. And then once they're in from there, their pedigree takes over and they believe that they can be it. So not a lot to go on there. I know you shaking your head because you love to see Columbus dropping points.
Well, no, I have more on that later, so don't worry about it.
No, go ahead.
No, I have more like in the preview. I have some more on Columbus, so we'll get into it.
My other kind of thought here, I'm going to move to the other Ohio team, and it's a little bit different, but the same starting message. Cincinnati, I think, is the exact opposite. Dropping some points, and I think there is a concern. My concern being this: yes, the structure is there from back to forward, but it stops at forward. And the absence of Brandon Vasquez was the difference between a 3-3-2 start and sitting in 5th place for you in the Eastern Conference, between you being in 2nd, sitting right behind Miami, or potentially being ahead of Miami in 1st. You're missing that last bit. You're missing some goals. That is what the problem is right now with your FC Cincinnati.
No, you're absolutely right. And like, as you see, we lost to Montreal. We've also lost our goalkeeper Roman Salentano until May, and so that's going to hurt for a bit. But it's the same stuff, different day. The striker/strikers, Bupenza and Baird, who we finally dropped to the bench, can't do anything right now, and we're relying on that midfield to just do everything, and that leaves us so wide open when they lose the ball that you just can't do that. You can't sustain that. And so either Bupenza has to make a leap halfway through the year, or when we hit the summer, you got to bring somebody in, because having a striker that can't score goals, that's your issue. Listen, both of my teams have had this issue for years now. Cincinnati can't get a striker that scores goals. Chelsea can't get a striker that scores goals. Just give me a striker that scores some goals, and my problems will be alleviated. But yeah, this one's it's been a rough patch.
I don't know what's this English game you talk about. I'm only ready to talk about the MLS, because my last point, I think, is the most important point. The LA Galaxy with a 3-1 win over Vancouver, goals from Jolovich, Pencil, and Fagundes. We are the best team in the West. And I think right now, without a doubt, the biggest surprise in MLS soccer right now. All the flowers to my Galaxy. We still play some shaky defense, but we play better. So here, I'll put it in comparison to Miami. We play better defense than Inter Miami, and we can score like Inter Miami.
Yeah.
We are phenomenal in the final third. Ricky Pooch, Maestro leading the way. Am I wrong?
No, your attack is one of the best in the MLS. Obviously, if Miami comes to play, that's it's going to be very close. But yeah, you are one good center back away from being the clear favorites
to win
in MLS.
Yeah. Yes. There's a certain man, and I don't know if we can still sign him, but there is a certain man, a certain center back, who played in Spain, who played against Lionel Messi in Barcelona, a rival, someone who hates those Barcelona players, Sergio Busquets, Luis Suarez, and Lionel Messi. And his name is Sergio Ramos, who is looking for a team and potentially to come America. Sergio, come on down to the LA Galaxy, continue this legacy, and let's go whoop some Inter Miami butt in the MLS final. Because like you said, with a center back, with some quality like that, we vault to not just being the top team in the West, like you said, the clear favorite to make it through. Because the problem for us, like we said, the clear favorite to make it through is Inter Miami. We are the best team in the West. And I think right now, without a doubt, the biggest surprise in MLS soccer right now. I think We're not just one injury away. We're one bad result at the back away from a bad playoff run. But we're flying high right now, so we're not gonna dwell on that bad stuff. But yes, come on, Sergio Ramos. I don't even know if we're allowed to do this, but I don't care. Can we make it happen? I'm sorry, I'm not super versed on MLS signing rules. Isn't there? But there's got to be a summer.
Cam and
No, no, no. I'm just saying. Like, but no, I don't know how their signings work.
It's don't ask.
So I don't know if the transfer window is closed. If it is, when does it open back up? Okay,
it's the same for the rest of soccer. It's the summer.
Oh, okay. So then here we go. Sometime here in the summer when that opens up, Sergio Ramos, come on down, baby. That's all I got.
And as you see the MLS table up there, like you said, San Jose is playing something that resembles soccer.
Hey, Seattle trying to climb back up.
Yeah. And then if we look over to the East, so you said Inter Miami, Red Bulls actually looking pretty good so far.
Yeah.
New England Revolution last week got their first win, but then proceeded to lose again. So, doing okay.
And here we're gonna shout out our Canadian friends. Toronto FC, Montreal sitting in 8th and 9th there in the East. And if you jump over, we talked about it, Vancouver sitting second. So shout out to Canada. All three teams currently sitting in playoff spots. Yes, it's very early, but still playing well, getting results. Anything else on the MLS? Are we jumping to next week?
Let's jump to next week.
Go ahead.
I got a couple games to talk about. First, and I mentioned it before, Columbus versus Portland, aka can either team win a damn game? Columbus in their last 5 has 5 draws, and Portland in their last 5 has 2 draws and 3 losses.
That says go Crew.
So somebody, maybe another draw, but can somebody please step up and win one of these games? Because good Lord. Game.
Oh, go ahead.
My second game, Houston Dynamo versus Austin FC. It's a Texas battle, baby. Battle of the Copa Tejas, the Cup of Texas for the people strictly English speakers here. Houston, obviously the better team. We saw them higher up on the table, much higher, but it's early and rivalry games throw form completely out the window. So this will be a good game to watch as well. Good rivalries all around.
Okay. I didn't know if you had a third. Listen, after the Straub Bros fiasco, I'm not holding us to counts at this point.
I appreciate that.
DC United, New York City FC, a matchup of some DC United, or a matchup of two teams there. Right. An old school MLS, or a bit of a rivalry there. I do want to give some love. Obviously, we've got Nashville and Inter Miami. You play Atlanta this week. That should be a big game. But I also, Galaxy and San Jose. Hey, Galaxy, please do what Manchester United does not do, and that's take care of the teams that you're supposed to. I would love to see this turn into a rout early, and get it rolling on that. Go Galaxy.
Yeah. I think that's what we got.
Absolutely. Love it. So I'm not done. So before I go to you, I want to do something real quick. Something to sprinkle in, not an every week thing, but there's other things going around. So as you do your Americans, I'm going to go super international, and I'm going to give you your world footy roundup. Starting real quick, some shouts, some extra bros of the week. We talked about Bayern Munich's run in Germany ending. That is because Bayer Leverkusen have won the Bundesliga. Shout out to them. Wrapped it up early. Inter Milan, not official, or actually I believe it is official, are Serie A champions as well. They are running away with the league. Real Madrid are this close to locking up La Liga over top of Barcelona. And PSG are running away as always with League One. Boo. So that's just some to kind of let you in on what's going on around the place. I know we like to focus on our MLS and our EPL, but that is what is going on around the world. Time to get the people what they want and what they came for, and give them their catch up. It's time to give them Americans abroad.
Yes. And everybody, I have a surprise today. And even Ken does not know what the surprise is.
I do not.
We have a new graphic. The Americans Abroad graphic. this is it. I cooked this one up because I know that all of you want to know who the player is, who he plays for. We got this one cooking.
I love you.
So I'll start it off. As you see up top, Malik Tillman of PSV, a goal in the 6-0 win. They are one win away from an Eredivisie trophy. So 3 Americans could potentially get trophies there. Malik Tillman, Serginho Dest, and Ricardo Pepi. They've been killing it over there, so props to them.
I have left them out because no jinxing.
Yes. Gaga Slonina, we haven't talked about him a lot. A young goalkeeper and an American, plays for Eupen in the Belgian league. Kind of a rough season, not a lot of stuff to be happy about, but in a 3-1 defeat, he had a penalty save. So a little bit of a bright spot on a kind of a downturn season, but he's young, still got a lot to develop, and trust me, he's getting plenty of experience getting shot on in that league. So a little bit of a down, but we're going to bring it back up, as you can see.
The pod's favorite team.
Testament of Venezia, 2 goals and a man-of-the-match performance and a 2-0 win. They are still 3 points out of automatic qualification, but they are guaranteed a spot in the promotion playoffs in Serie B to get promoted to Serie A. They have a very good chance. They are the top-seeded team in the playoffs, if that is what it comes to. So let's keep it pushing for him and Busio in Venezia.
Busio! You weren't saying that without getting away from that.
I was letting you get it.
Anyways, I was going there.
And finally, because we have a second slide to this, we have your assists. Gio Reyna, in his first start for Nottingham Forest since he was loaned there, proves his worth, gets an assist off a corner kick in a 2-2 draw against Wolves. Maybe this is the spark Forest needs to stay up. I know this is an American fan talking out of his butt, but I would love to see him start and potentially try to just get something new in this Nottingham Forest team, because they really don't have much going forward. So an attacking player, maybe giving up some defensive help for an attacking threat like Gio, could help this team, especially on this season. But what do I know? I'm just an American sitting in my apartment bedroom talking about Americans.
Hey, and nobody covers those Americans better than this show and more in depth than this show. And I stand on that. All right. Clip that for the TikTok. Thank you guys, as always, for checking in with us. We appreciate the comments. We were rocking in the comment section. We appreciate the views. We appreciate the subscribes, whether it's here, whether it's Spotify, or any of the fellow 216 Sports Network members. All of us. Speaking of the 216 Sports Network, that's where you can find all of us on Facebook. Follow and like us there. You can find us on YouTube. Like and subscribe there, where you can find us and the rest of the lineup. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, covering your NBA and your Cavaliers. The Rulers Minute, giving you everything on topic that day in the middle of the day. All your sport needs. Outside interference, your local wrestling hookup, and always the Straub Bros Sports Show. Big Bro Ken, Little Bro Drew, taking care of it for you. I didn't mean to rhyme like that. Straub Bros Sports Show. You can find us all over the place. On TikTok at the SBSS, had to scroll down. X, formerly known as Twitter, at Straub Bros Sports, and Spotify. You can catch up on anything you missed. You can catch up and roll all the way back to the beginning and roll with the journey with us. Or, hey, did he say that? Jump back and find out. But you can find us there on Spotify. Also, another big shout out to Austin Fink, my guy over at Create Your Own Wave Apparel, for rocking with us again this week. Check them out on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021, and check out the merch, the actual merch, CYOWapparel.myshopify.com. Don't ride the wave. Create your own wave. I love that so damn much. I'm not going to lie. Shout out to you, Austin. Bro, final shout outs.
Yes. Shout out to everyone watching, everyone that is going to watch, everyone that will watch 20 years from now. Have a great weekend, everybody, and just stay safe.
Absolutely. Thank you for letting the Straub Bros bring you your sports. And as always, love yours.